I love video games all my life. The games I played growing up were Super Mario Bros., Medal of Honor, Madden, and Grand Theft Auto. It's an industry that keeps booming every time we advance into the future.
Video games have been around since 1972, and they have started to become even more popular with the rise of esports. But there was a time that made video games almost a thing of the past. In 1983, the video game market crashed and led to several video game companies to file for bankruptcy.
Four problems that made the video game market crash in 1983 were the rise in computers, inflation, publishing control, and bad video game development.
With computers being shown as a better investment than video games, the public started using computers in their daily lives, since it had video games built into them with better graphics. But for the home console market, there were 12 different consoles to play video games on.
When companies like Atari, Mattel, and Coleco started cashing in on the video game industry, they created an inflation of consoles that just exhausted the consumer, making them say, what's the point of owning a console if there's a wide selection to choose from?
With all of these game consoles being released to the public, this led to third-party companies to make their own video games instead of the video game companies who make the consoles as well as the games.
When a company who has a console makes games for that console, it makes them even more money. But when a third party makes games for that particular console, the third party gets to keep the money from all the sold copies of their game. And those big game companies started to lose millions of dollars in profit, and they were not happy about it.
So to combat third-party companies from stealing the big game companies' money, companies like Atari started to make arcade games for consoles, which were poorly developed. The same goes for movie-based games like E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which is considered to be the worst video game to be ever made.
The main problem of arcade games ported to home consoles is that they were watered-down versions of the original, which they were developed very badly with the technology that they had. As for E.T., it was completed in 6 weeks, and it usually took programmers 3 to 4 months to complete a regular Atari game. And people did not like that these games were unplayable and not entertaining.
Thus, consumers lost confidence in the video game industry and left it in obscurity. That is, until October of 1985, a Japanese company called Nintendo, who were affected a little bit during the crash, released the Nintendo Entertainment System with a pack-in game called Super Mario Bros. It was a smash hit with consumers, selling over 34 million units, and the game that was sold with Super Mario Bros. Sold over 40 million copies. They also released a few more launch titles for the system, like Duck Hunt, Excite Bike, and Ice Climber, which were also popular among consumers. This marked the end of the crash.
Nintendo helped save the video game industry. If Nintendo never showed up, we wouldn't have games like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, or Madden, because Nintendo helped shape the video game industry that it is today. And with the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 coming out soon, I don't think that video games are going to go away forever, and that we will still be playing video games in the years to come.